Please don't be a nuisance. You rely on others too much. Try to handle things on your own a bit, will you? Sai spoke these thoughtless words to Bianca, who is physically challenged, unaware of the struggles she faces. I'll never forgive you if you dare speak ill of Bianca again. Be prepared. I'm Miller, 27 years old, living with my parents. I work and could live alone considering my age. Few people my age still live at home, but I stay for a reason. My sister, Bianca. Bianca was born with nerve issues, making it hard for her to move. She needs care, especially since our father passed away, and it's too much for her mom to handle alone. It's not easy assisting someone with their daily life, and mom isn't young anymore, so I take the lead in caring for Bianca. Are you okay, Bianca? Does your body hurt? No, I'm fine, thank you. Despite her pain, Bianca always worries about me. She tries to do everything she can and used to apologize all the time when I started caring for her. Seeing her like that made my heart ache. Bianca, please don't apologize. After asking her several times, she reluctantly agreed. She feels sorry, but I don't mind at all. Mom opposed me taking care of her, worried about my age, job, and marriage prospects, but I care more about Bianca and want to stay by her side. Each time Mom brought it up, I'd rebel. I want to be with Bianca. Reflecting on it now, I was quite childish. Mom understood it and stopped objecting. She takes care of Bianca while I'm at work. I'm grateful for her concern, but being there for Bianca means the most to me. After Bianca sleeps, Mom and I share our day's events. Mom seems happy, reminding me that we rarely had these talks during my teenage years. I wonder if she enjoys our conversations. Then one day, while caring for Bianca, she mentioned something. Sai's birthday is coming up soon. Ah, Kelly, I was confused. Kelly is my younger sister. I'm the middle of 3 sisters. After graduating high school, Sai left home and never returned. She doesn't answer calls or emails, and it's unclear if she even reads them. Sai always disliked Bianca for her disability. Bianca, you're gross. Stay away from me, she would say, causing trouble for Mom and Bianca. As a child, she found Bianca's differences suspicious. When Mom scolded her, "Hey, you can't say that," Kelly would behave for a while but soon start harassing Bianca again, hiding her pencil case, using foul language. Mom and I were exasperated with Sai. As she grew into a teenager, her attitude towards Bianca worsened. She started staying out late, and it wasn't unusual for her not to come home. No matter how much we cautioned her, she'd yell, "Shut up, don't interfere," and storm out. Eventually, Mom gave up. Just let her be. On the day Sai left home after high school, she said to Bianca, "Please don't trouble me. I mean, you're too dependent on others. Try to do something on your own for a change." Oblivious to Bianca's situation, Sai added these words. Despite her limitations, Bianca tried to be independent. She browsed job listings with her immobile body, determined to work. Ultimately, she couldn't find employment and remained home, but she never stopped trying to increase what she could do by herself. I couldn't forgive Sai for her heartless remarks. As I was about to lash out, Bianca stopped me. "Maybe that's how Kelly sees it. Sorry for being such a burden," she said, looking at Kelly with a mix of irritation and resignation. Kelly left home, and we lost touch. I heard from relatives that she got married right after high school, likely spending time at her boyfriend's place even before that. Initially, I tried reaching out, but she never responded, so I tried to live without thinking about Kelly. Bianca, are you going to contact Kelly again this year? Yeah, I think I'll try. Despite the hurtful words, Bianca still sent birthday messages to Sai, knowing she wouldn't reply. She said she wanted to at least wish Sai a happy birthday since she couldn't do much for her. I told her she was kind, but she always denied it. Just normal, she'd say, shyly smiling. Months later, Mom and I stood beside Bianca, who lay peacefully in her hospital bed. Her condition had worsened after Kelly's birthday, and she passed away. It was heartbreaking to see Bianca, who could no longer speak, and I cried daily. There was no reply from Kelly, even when I informed her of Bianca's death. There was no response. Though I resented Bianca, she was still family. I hoped for even a single word, but it seemed I expected too much. I sent the funeral details, but Kelly didn't reply or attend. Mom, either resigned or forgetful, never mentioned Kelly again. After the funeral, Mom and I cleared out Bianca's room. In the closet, I found an album I never knew Bianca had. It contained photos of Bianca, Mom, and me on outings, along with pictures from my childhood. When I asked Mom if she knew about these photos, she revealed that Bianca had secretly collected photos of me, finding strength in my smile. Hearing this, I burst into tears, sobbing like a child while Mom comforted me. Then I felt something warm on my head. Looking up, I saw Mom crying too, holding my hand. Bianca was that loved. A year has passed since Bianca's departure. Since then, my heart has felt empty, filled with a sense of loss. My days are spent in a job. I don't enjoy my days anymore. While Mom and I remain close, it's not enough to fill the void Bianca left. I often wonder what will become of me. One day, I got a call on my mobile phone from an unknown number. Who could it be? After a few rings, I answered, and the person on the other end was unexpected. Hello, this is Sterling, Kelly's husband. Excuse me, you're Kelly's husband? I asked, taken aback. That was Kelly's husband, Sterling, my brother-in-law. The mystery deepened. What could Sterling possibly want with me? Yes, he replied, his tone sounding somewhat angry. Do you need something? I asked, waiting for his next words. Please pick up your sister with disabilities. We've been looking after her for 6 months now, Sterling said, even more surprising me. An impossible situation had arisen. Bianca was with Sterling. I was so taken aback I fell silent. Thinking I was upset, Sterling pressed on. Why are you silent? Don't you care about your sister? What kind of human are you? His words bewildered me, but I finally spoke up. Bianca passed away a year ago. Sterling, perhaps in his excitement, wasn't listening, tired of caring and just dumping her on someone else. Your sister looks so sad, like she's been abandoned. This conversation was going nowhere. I interrupted Sterling to repeat, Bianca died a year ago. After a brief silence, Sterling finally spoke. Is that true? It seemed my words had finally reached him. I calmly explained to a now composed Sterling that Bianca had died a year ago, and that it was Kelly, not me, who had disliked Bianca. I also mentioned that we had informed Kelly when Bianca passed away. Shocked, Sterling seemed at a loss for words. Then, with a trembling voice, he said, Then who's the woman in our house? Excuse me, I asked, listening intently to Sterling's story. Apparently, 6 months ago, Kelly brought home a woman in a wheelchair, claiming she was her sister. Initially, they tried contacting us repeatedly, but Kelly had dismissed their efforts, saying, Nobody will listen, it's pointless. Refusing to acknowledge us despite claiming the woman was Bianca, Kelly didn't care for her at all. After returning from work, all the care fell on Sterling. Despite hearing the entire story, I couldn't grasp the situation, and it seems Sterling himself felt the same. Would you mind coming to our house? Maybe it's better to talk in person. Indeed, meeting and talking in person would be quicker than over the phone. I agreed to Sterling's suggestion and decided to visit his apartment with Mom next weekend. When I told Mom about the call from Sterling and the story about Bianca, she was very surprised and quite scared at the possibility that Bianca, who was supposed to be gone, might still be there. Finally, the day arrived. Bracing ourselves, we left the house and headed to Sterling's apartment. Nervous, I muttered as we approached the place. Mom nodded beside me, looking tense as well. We approached the designated room and rang the bell. From inside, we heard 2 sets of footsteps stop abruptly. The door opened, and a fresh-faced young man appeared. Mother-in-law, sister-in-law, thank you for coming all this way, Sterling said, leading us inside. We followed his lead, but as we were about to enter the room, we were interrupted by a familiar figure. Hey, why are you here? I didn't call you, and you haven't even met Sterling. Just do as I say, and leave quickly, Kelly said, trying to block our entry. Claiming to be the sister, Kelly didn't care for the woman at all. She physically blocked us, creating a wall to prevent us from entering the living room. However, we managed to get past her. Turning to Sterling's side, I saw a woman sitting in a wheelchair, her eyes filled with fear and uncertainty. Is this lady your sister? Sterling asked, pointing to her. The woman appeared to be around Bianca's age, but neither Mom nor I knew her. No, she's not. We don't know her, I responded. I see, Sterling said quietly. He then turned back to the woman. Meanwhile, Kelly was trembling and had collapsed on the floor. Ignoring Kelly's state, Sterling asked the woman, Who are you exactly? The woman didn't respond. Something was going on. Perhaps she had been threatened by Kelly into silence. I turned back to Kelly. Who's this woman? You brought her here, right? I asked, but Kelly remained silent as usual. What? You didn't bring a stranger here, did you? I raised my voice in question. A soft voice came from behind. It seemed to be from the woman in the wheelchair. Looking at her again, she appeared remorseful but stayed quiet. After a deep breath, she slowly started to reveal her identity. I am. Don't say anything. Don't talk, Kelly desperately shouted, trying to prevent her from speaking. Hearing this, Mom was very angry. You stay quiet, she raised her voice. Surprised by her tone, Callie gave up on speaking. We turned back to the woman, encouraging her to continue. Slowly, despite being scared, she began to reveal the full story. My name is Christina Redmaniel. Redmaniel? Sterling exclaimed loudly upon hearing her name. It was unfamiliar to us. Sterling, do you know her? I asked. Do I know her? Could you be the daughter of Mr. Redmaniel? Christina nodded. Hearing more from Sterling, it turned out that Christina was the daughter of Sterling's boss. Hearing this, both Mom and I were perplexed. Sterling, trying his best to explain, also seemed unsure of what was happening. What was Kelly trying to do, bringing a complete stranger and claiming her to be Bianca? Beyond questions, I felt fear. It seemed the only way to get answers was to confront Kelly directly. I stood up next to Kelly, who still sat on the floor with a disgruntled expression, and demanded an explanation. What's going on? You started all this, right? Involving so many people is unthinkable. Explain everything. However, Kelly just stood there, staring off into space, refusing to speak. Even when cornered like this, she seemed unwilling to reveal the truth. I knew Kelly had issues, but I didn't expect her to be this stubborn. What should we do now? As I pondered, Christina spoke up. Kelly is dating my brother, she said, looking right at us with an unexpected boldness. Noticing Christina's assertiveness, Kelly glared at her and then tried to pounce on her. We managed to stop her and turned our attention back to Christina. Stammering at times but earnest, Christina shared her story. Kelly tried to interrupt, but Mom's stern look silenced her. Christina revealed that she had been living with a disability in her lower body since a childhood accident. Since then, her family had been overly cautious around her, making her feel uncomfortable. One day, after more than 10 years of this, Kelly suddenly showed up. I'll take you in, she had said. Confused, Christina eventually felt less afraid, knowing Kelly was her brother's partner. Perhaps Kelly took Christina in to impress her boyfriend. Once at Kelly's home, Kelly did nothing for Christina, leaving everything to Sterling. When alone with Kelly, the kindness shown at the time of taking her in vanished. You're in the way, Kelly would often say, negating Christina's existence. The way she treated Christina was similar to how she had treated Bianca. A nuisance. Go away? Don't be a dependent. Hearing this, I was shaking with anger. Such a person being my sister was too shameful. What do you mean, Kelly? I asked. Kelly retorted loudly, it's all Sterling's fault. He's always busy with work and doesn't pay attention to me. That's for the family's sake. How dare you talk so arrogantly when you don't even work? Sterling was clearly angry, hearing such childish excuses. If you're not working, it would be nice to have Sterling go to work for you, I said, watching Kelly continue with her excuses. I was overwhelmed with anger like never before. Just as I was about to unleash my fury on Kelly, Sterling spoke up. Do you realize how many people you are hurting, Kelly? Your sister, your mother, Christina, and your late sister. As a human being, you were out of line. Kelly stopped making excuses and was visibly shocked. Usually faced with a calm Sterling, she tried to retort but ultimately couldn't find the words against Sterling's anger. Sterling continued to explain how serious the situation was. But I mean, Kelly tried to make more excuses, but tears prevented her from speaking clearly. Seeing Kelly acting like a victim infuriated me, and I spoke up again. Do you know how much Bianca worried about you, Kelly? Kelly turned towards me, tears in her eyes. I don't know any sister. I don't have a sister. Her words left me in shock. I never expected her to say something like that. I was at a loss for words, but before I knew it, I blurted out, do you know, Kelly, that Bianca sent you an email every year on your birthday? Despite the terrible things you said to her, she always thought of you. Kelly hung her head down again. She must have known about the birthday emails, but chose to ignore them. Despicable, I said. Kelly didn't expect such words from me. She remained silent, tears quietly streaming down her face. Afterward, Sterling and Kelly got divorced. Sterling seemed very angry with his brother for neglecting Christina and discussed with his boss the affair and the treatment of Christina. Soon, rumors about the brother, some perhaps unfounded, began to spread in the company. He tried to endure at first but eventually resigned. Kelly, after the divorce, moved in with Christina's brother. But with him leaving his job, they had no source of income. They moved from their previous residence to a cheaper apartment and somehow managed to get by. After the divorce, Kelly came to me begging, "Let me live at our parents' house." Of course, I refused. Mom managed to send Kelly back this time. Unlike before, Kelly sent many messages, but I ignored all of them. Eventually, the messages stopped. However, what really bothered me was why Christina stayed in that house without any resistance. Christina and I became friends after that incident. Out of curiosity, I asked her why she didn't try to escape. Her answer was surprising. It turned out that Christina had fallen in love with Sterling, who cared for her without expecting anything in return. She knew she would never be with him if she stayed, but going back home wasn't an option either, as she wouldn't be treated well there. Kelly's words were hurtful, but being near Sterling made her happy. Now, amazingly, she and Sterling are married. Married? I exclaimed in surprise. I had not expected such a turn of events. Sterling, too, must have been drawn to Christina while caring for her. Now they lived together in that apartment. Upon closer inspection, a ring shone on her left ring finger. Despite everything, had this incident not happened, Christina and I wouldn't have become close friends, nor would she have married Sterling. It was a complex process, but if everyone is happy now, that's what matters. I too need to find a marriage partner soon. With that thought, I savored my coffee.